Time to play what is obviously the best deck in this game. Zealot, Max Zealot with Pillar of Frost, Penance, because the 10,000 increase after 30% is obviously much better than going for the shorter version, which is the 3,000, but you only get 20%. If you do happen to get to 10,000, which you should be able to get to because it's Zealot and you're just generating so much mana, the 30% available, or the 30% damage increase is going to be amazing. Likewise, the Surge of Faith is probably the short-term better option, but you should be able to get to higher rounds, and you should be using Piety, because then you're getting the 35% chance of getting counters, and each counter is raising each relic is raising your regular attack +3 up to a total of 300. So it's giving you from 312 damage to 612 damage, and then obviously with mana upgrades, and then you get increased speed. We are rocking the Magic Cauldron. I do like the Mana Elixir a little bit more than the Rage Elixir. Cooling Potion is probably a must, and then Overflow I like more than Ricochet, because for the most part, you're not trying to summon in Cauldrons. I'm running Harlequin and Dryad, and my entire reasoning for wanting to run this at all is Vampires getting Talents, and so I thought I'd try this deck with Vampire. And it's doing about as well as I would hope. My spoiler alert is that this deck is terrible. This deck is just awful. It is just awful. Every part of it is awful. And I hate saying it because I love Zealot, and if you have known me for any period of time, you know that my actual favorite card in this game is Zealot. I wish it was so much better than it is, and it's terrible. I've gotten a perfect setup with a level 5 center, and I just cannot generate mana for the life of me in this deck. I can't even draw a Zealot in this game. I mean, I can try to luck out here. That's even worse. That's much worse. I don't want to get rid of this. I guess that's fine. None of this is great, though. This is about how every game goes. There's a Zealot that's not where it's supposed to be. I'm obviously trying to build in the center here, so that I can use both of the... Yeah, none of this matters. Yep, this is about as well as this has been going for me for the last 3 games that I've tried with this deck. I have 4,100 crit, which is obviously helping me right here. I am currently in League 3. I'm at 4729. This deck is terrible. This deck is just awful. I feel like way too many YouTubers, they only post games where they're winning. Like, they could just play some wacky deck, and then they're just gonna showcase, like, a game where they're winning. I'm gonna showcase a deck that I want to be good so bad. I want this deck to be, like, amazing. And it's so bad. Every single time I play this deck, I can't get to, like, round 5 in, floor 13, because I usually die first round for this exact reason. And I'm telling you right now, even if I were to have a Zealot, here we go. That's not even where I want it, because I want it here. Because of the double, growth squares. But even if I were to get a Zealot where I want it to be, I could technically just upgrade this, copy it. I can get rid of this one. I can upgrade this one, copy that. The reason why I'm not running Portal Keeper is because that's just another card, and with Mermaid and with Harlequin, you can do exactly what I just did, and then get rid of all of your debuffs, which is just as good as running Portal Keeper. Upgrade, I can do that and do that again. I like that I have the cauldrons here. I am gonna get rid of this here. That's not the worst. Obviously, I need to get rid of this guy. I'm not gonna merge onto it. Oh, I guess I should have. Guess I should have done it. Alright, I'm gonna do it. Yeah! I think this is the best game I've gotten so far, playing this. I've played this, including that last one, I've played this for like 3 or 4 in a row. And it's just been bad every single time. I've never made it past 3. I've never gotten to the 3rd boss. So we're at 2nd boss. I usually die here. It feels like this deck should generate just infinite mana, and it struggles so hard. I have a really good setup here. I have enough cauldrons. I mean, and I guess maybe this level 3 is not, it's not terrible because it is generating me the most mana here. But look at this drop off. It suffers from just so many different separate things. And it just makes it just so bad. I'm gonna keep this one, and I'm gonna get rid of this one. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Actually, you know what? That's fine. I'll do that. I'll do that. And I suppose theoretically at will I can, sacrifice it if I really want to. It does burst down bosses really, really well. So once you have the setup, even if you start dying to the wave, you can normally burst down bosses. Yeah, I think this is the best I've done with this deck. I really only want the one vampire. I obviously shouldn't be focusing vampire anyway. It's not a vampire deck, and my vampire doesn't have talents. I'm gonna go 7 here. I'm gonna keep this one and then hope for another dryad so that I can 3 that. Oh, they're being real nice to me. Oh, look at how nice they're being. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. And I've now burned through so much mana that I need to wait. A lot of this deck is just like having the patience to not do anything. I was also randomly playing against a bunch of people that were using Trickster as their hero. So theoretically, I'm supposed to get to 10,000 mana. That is not happening here. This is exactly why you need the... Oh, here we go. How fast can we burst down this guy? Not fast enough. But it's fine. Because I don't think we lost too many good things. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. It's so easy to use mana in this deck. I'm gonna go here and then go here. It's just so easy to just burn through mana. We're at 7k. It just does not do well against waves at all. With no way of dealing AoE damage other than that mana, the mana burst. It's just a deck that should be so much better than it is. And because it's so intrinsically tied to the Mana Cauldron, in order for it to be good, it makes it so bad. That's the best option. 8%. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this. Oh, now I really want to get rid of that guy. Three. I mean, it even sounds like a good deck because you get the, with Mana Cauldron, you get the level ups. And it's just, the deck is, I have 4,000 crit. I have 4,000 crit and a crit bow. This deck is so bad. I mean, like, I could even try to play, like, a serious version of this deck. I think, like, a Scrapper would be fine. But then you don't give yourself room for, oh my god. Then at that point, you're just going, straight power. But that's one of the problems of this deck. Like, you can't just run Cauldron. I'm sorry, you can't just run Scrapper. And then you need some way of, like, because you need to have that very specific X shape, and then you still need the 2 cauldrons, at least 2 cauldrons, to get double activations. But then you need, like, your early game you need, and then you need setup. So you need Harlequin for setup, and then Harlequin doubles as a helper for Dryad, because then Dryad helps you with early game. But then you have no late game if you decide to take Trapper out and put in something else. It's just, there's just so many problems. It's the reason why commons, epics, and rares. I always talk about commons, epics, and rares, and the reason why I always talk about why you shouldn't invest into commons, epics, and rares is specifically, this is the exact reason. You have to fix so many problems with commons, epics, and rares that it's not worth it. You have, like, you're trying to fix the damage. You're trying to fix the cleanse. So you have Mermaid. So you need a level 5 Mermaid. And then you're trying to fix the damage. So you're running Dryad and you're running the Cauldron because you have to run Cauldron with Zealot. Like, but then the Cauldron just makes you have draws that look like this. It's just, there's just so many problems with this deck. And I know that they're never going to fix it. But at the very least, like, one of the fixes should be that that if they're gonna put on Zealot that it's a mana, or like, if Zealot doesn't, in its text box, it doesn't specifically say Cauldron, like, oh, whenever it's next to a Cauldron, it does this thing or it gets this bonus. It never actually says that. It just only works with Cauldron. The actual text box says mana producing unit, but nothing else works. And it's one of the weird problems that I always had with this card, because I was always like, well, what if you put Vampire with it? If you put a Vampire next to a Zealot, does that work? And no, nothing else works. It's either you have to have, I'm dying to Alchemist. You have to have Cauldron. And because you have to have Cauldron, Cauldron is basically just a dead unit. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's just a card that I wish was just so much better. And I don't do a lot of videos with Zealot, and this is specifically why. I remember when Zealot first got talents, and it was one of the first batch of units to get talents, and I was really trying so hard to make it work, and it was just so bad. And I love that, like, months upon months later, it continues to just showcase to me how bad, like, this unit is. And this is basically how I feel about every common, epic, and rare. It's just like a fun. It always looks like a fun unit to use. Like an alchemist, it looks like a fun unit to use. An engineer looks like a fun unit to use. Like a crystalmancer looks like a fun unit to use. Like, oh, and I get the question all the time: should I invest into like engineer because it's so good? And this is how I feel about it. This is how I feel about every common, epic, and rare. It's a fun looking unit, and it's just awful. I'm like attempting to just focus right here because I can't. This is the problem with like the Zealot mechanic in general. Like you need to use mana in the early part of your game, but if you use mana, the attack gets weaker. So it's a really good late game card, but you can't get to late game. And then even when you do eventually get to late game, it's still bad. Is he gonna die? Oh, he died! I won some. Oh, he had the 1,778 crit. Zealot can beat somebody if they have less than 2,000 crit. That's when Zealot is really good. If your opponent has less than 2,000 crit and you have above 4,000 crit and you have a max version of everything and you have a level 5 mermaid, you should be fine. And a crit bow and a growth tile. Then your Zealot will win. That's when Zealot is really good. And that's how I feel. That is how I feel about all commons, epics, and rares. Like I can showcase games of Crystalmancer be like winning, but like I'm also winning against people that I could win with most things. Like I could probably build like a Wind Archer deck and win against somebody that has that. I'm gonna trade out something. Actually, you know what? I can go through this really quick. When the Zealot receives mana on a neighboring tile, it never says Cauldron. It just says when it receives mana on a neighboring tile. But like Pillar of Frost is so important that also Fanaticism only really works with when surrounded by other Zealots. He summons Force of Light with a 4% chance. Getting mana in a neighboring tile has a 30% chance to increase the Zealot's critical chance by 4%. 50% per merge rank, lasting 4 seconds. It only activates when you have Cauldron. So you can take the Cauldron out of the Zealot deck, but then it's just significantly worse, and then it's almost as if though it doesn't. You're rocking a unit that has talents, but you're not using talents. Why they decided to like make it very specific to Cauldron is beyond me. Because if they like, and the fact that it doesn't even say Cauldron, because especially with Vampire coming out in this next patch and getting talents, I feel like you could theoretically make a Vampire Zealot deck, and if it gained charges or if it gained counters with Vampire because it is a mana producing unit, I think it might be kind of okay, but it doesn't, and it's so bad. Reaper's another card that used to be really good and is just so bad. I think a long time ago I tried to run Cold Mage, and that was my tech. Because with Cold Mage, it basically acts like a trapper. I'm obviously building right here if I can. You get like the three growth tiles on amazing spots. See, just doing this, like I have to summon in, but because I'm summoning in, my Zealot is getting weaker, and I'm also just not getting good Good drops. That's a good drop. One of its problems is that it attacks just so slow. I could run J, but then I have no way of cleansing, which then presents a different problem. I should be using the Dryad level up, but I can't because I need to kill things. But I also need to keep summoning in. And Zealot doesn't attack fast enough. And you don't get the Pillar of Mana unless you have a Cauldron. And I couldn't draw a Cauldron. Like... Every so often, my clan will say, like, "Oh, I'm gonna run Zealot because I just got talents for it. We should play a game." And I always tell them, I'm just like, "Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. I can build the best version of this deck, and it's not worth your time." Am I gonna win? Aww. I was so close to winning. I think that would have been my thumbnail. I would have been like... That would have been the thumbnail. It would have been like Zealot beats Demon Hunter. Try this deck out now. Zealot beats Demon Hunter. It's so bad. I mean, I could try it. I could run... You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take out Cold Mage, put in Portal Keeper, and then I'm going to run J tiles. We're going to do it. I have no end game. Because I'm doing this, I have no end game. There's no possible way that I can, like, obtain higher than, like, level 3, level 4, level 3, level 4 Zealots. It's gonna be so bad. Oh, that's a lot of tiles. There's a lot going on this field. Yeah, like right here, right? That's a lot of tiles. Is this gonna be it? Zealot beats Demon Hunter! Yay! That's right! That's right! I don't even know. I can't even do, like, the screenshot. That's terrible. That's just awful. I knew that I would just be able to, like, run this and just blow through a bunch of games. And that's why this is happening right now. This is something that I would do on my live. Like, I would do a live stream about this. And be like, let's make Zealot good. Because Zealot is terrible. You know what? I'm gonna... Yeah, that's a speed tile and a growth tile, and then I get a speed tile right here. And then a growth tile right here. This is pretty good. I'm gonna get rid of that. I like this. I like what's happening here. Copy, copy. Growth tile. Copy, copy. Let's go here. Upgrades. Early game is the hardest thing for me here. And with J activations, I can just burst through the first boss as well as the waves. I think this might be... I think we might have something here. I will always copy... I will always copy Dryads. We're gonna need so many Dryads. All the Dryads. We cannot have enough Dryads. Dryad. I will summon in Zealots at some point. My goal is to just get them all to level 3. I don't know how we're gonna push past that. There's one. Oh, that's pretty good. I guess that's how we're gonna push past that. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's get rid of both of these. We're gonna go 2, 2, 4. Oh, let's do that. 3. I'm gonna do these bottom 2. I'm gonna go 7 here. 3. Two, 1. I'm not afraid of Tamer, so at will I can just burst this down. See, like, look how much this speed tile is helping this guy. You cannot play with, like, the importance of a speed tile. Three? Yeah. I'm gonna combine these out as soon as I can summon into the square. I'm gonna go 7 here, combine that out. That's exactly what we wanted here, because then we can 3 that. That's exactly what we wanted right there. I'm not necessarily sure what to do with this square. Copy. I'm gonna give both of these. You know what? I'm gonna move. No, I'm gonna summon in here. Get rid of these 2 zealots. I can always use another cauldron. Merge this back. That's pretty good. I'm keeping this for the Portal Keeper. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm keeping it for the Portal Keeper so that I can move things around if I get to that point. But I'm not sure where... You know what? I'm going to move it to this square. Because I want the 2 top squares to merge out so that I can get more stacks. I'm gonna do... I don't know what to do here. I'm going to do that. Because I have this one here and this one up here... that's all I actually need, because then that's touching everything in the square. I think I'm actually going to start trying to go for 4s. I think that's what has to happen. It'll free up space. I'm going to do it after this Grandmaster. Or you know what? I'm gonna give this to this guy. There we go. I'm gonna combine this out. Combine this back here. Oh, that's pretty good. Aww. Wah. Oh wait, no, I already have one. Never mind. Just kidding. Obviously the growth speed, and probably obviously this one. Growth. Burst that down. Merge out the two portal keepers. You know what? I'm gonna do that one. I think I just get rid of this, right? Oh no, that was way early. That was the best possible solution right there. Am I stuck? No. Yes. Oh, is this the screenshot? That's the screenshot for sure. Am I gonna win this? No. Oh! That's right. Beating up on little kids. That's what I feel. That's how I feel about this. I'm just like, oh yeah, Zealot's so good. It can beat up little kids. It's like I'm a grown man beating up on like elderly men, elderly children. I don't know. Elderly children doesn't make sense. Old people. I'm like it takes a 4,112% crit deck with a level 20J and a maxed out Zealot and a maxed out Cauldron to maybe theoretically beat a Demon Hunter. A 1489 level 1 gadget, epic equipment. Like that's what it takes. Is Zealot good? You better believe it.